That's right, we're back with another microphone test. This one's actually going to be 3 freshly delivered setups to look at for my competition between all of these microphones to see what I'm going to use on this channel to get my audio. It'll probably end up being a few of them, but we've already gone through a long list of microphones, but I got a few just in that we're going to go ahead and look at today. Those 3 are going to be the lavalier mic I'm using right now. It's the DPA 4061, kind of industry standard, quite nice, but it's a lavalier mic, so quality's not quite what it is on a lot of the other ones. The other one we're going to do is a Electro Voice RE-20, which is about perfect for what I'm trying to do here and probably going to be really good for my voice. And then one more of a studio mic that's a really special mic, a really special capsule on the mic, and that would be the Austrian Audio OC-18. We're going to get into all 3 of those, kind of go through them and see what's good and what's not. So let's go ahead and get into it. So first we have the all-important question, what comes in the box? We'll start with the Austrian Audio here. This is the studio set, so it comes with pretty much everything. This little sleeve here, normally held on with the Velcro, but I kind of did away with that for right now. And we have our box, so I can get the thing lined up there. Nice briefcase. Pretty standard, you see quite a few of these in the microphone market. You got the very sweet V, which I think is probably supposed to be an A sticker. Packing slip, it's very important. I don't think that was in there. I think I put that in. A little Vintage King ad, just so you guys get some information. Quick start guide. How to work a microphone. All right, so you get the shock mount, actually quite nice. You get the adapter. You get the mic stand mount, also quite nice. You get foam pop filter, and you get your microphone. Everything you'd expect. For the RE-20, you get a random white box with no accessories. And then you go out and buy all the accessories, and then you get some more random white boxes. That's about it. There you get a good look at that handmade capsule for Vienna, Austria. This one's got switchable pad of -10 and -20 for recording some instruments. It's also got an analog low cut filter of 40, 80, and 160, which can be very handy. Equivalent noise level is 9 decibel A-weight, so not quite as good as some of the other ones I'm looking at, but still perfectly usable. Only cardioid pattern on this one. Weighs 335 grams. If you look at the frequency charts, we're looking at a presence bump about 6,000 to 7,000 and about 12,000 on this one. Now we move on to the venerable RE-20. This one's also a cardioid pattern, but it is a dynamic mic. It has a frequency response of 45 hertz to 18 kilohertz. This one's a dramatically heavier microphone, not even counting the very large, oversized shock mount. This one's over at 737 grams. It's calling itself fawn beige, which I guess it's sort of a beige. And then the frequency response is pretty flat. There's a little mid-range hump of about 4,000-ish. And then there's also kind of a hump that goes through most of the 7,000 to 11,000 range up and down. That's about what we have for the RE-20. Okay, so the setup, I have actually the Austrian Audio just kind of sitting on a desktop stand, just because it was easier to get everything lined up in this particular situation. I've got the capsules pretty well lined up here between the RE-20 and the Austrian. The actual lavalier is just on my collar, as it would be. The RE-20 is in its own shock mount. It's the actual Electro Voice shock mount bought outside of the main purchase because it doesn't come with it. And then it's on a Heil PL2T arm off to the side so I can get everything kind of lined up here. I'm going to kind of just bounce back and forth between the microphones as we talk about them so you can kind of hear what it sounds like in this untreated environment to see what's actually picking up the most room noise, what sounds good, what does not sound good. So we're kind of just moving forward in that way, just like we have on the other videos we're testing, where we're testing the microphones. The Austrian is the most expensive of all of them that we've tested up to this point. This is the studio set, so it comes with this slick little shock mount, and it comes with the actual foam here on the top, which is actually a really high quality. I'm impressed with what came with the package. It is more expensive largely because of its condenser. It is a very, it's a dramatic, build for this condenser. A copy of the old AKG, I think it's the C12s, which were kind of a brass ring condenser that they're able to do now. Most of everybody at Austrian Audio came directly from AKG, and they're taking a lot of the tech that they had there when they were building microphones in Vienna, right over. I don't know how close they are to the old facility, but came right over to the new facility and started building these, and they've been getting great acclaim. And my little bit of testing, just listening to them up to this point, has shown the OC-18 to be absolutely fantastic. The OC-18 has quite a bit more features as far as changing the actual pattern. This one is only cardioid, which is fine with me and my environment, but the OC-818 goes, to every one of them and kind of infinite in between. You can kind of dial it up in the software. RE-20 is dynamic, obviously. I do have the RE-20 connected to a FET head because I'm going directly into the RODECaster Pro this time instead of the mix pre, and I think the preamps are a little bit better if I just go ahead and give a FET head, give it a little bit bump before I take it into the actual RODECaster Pro. The only thing really with the Lavalier is it actually is going through a basic Shure wireless system to go into there. I do have the XLR adapter for the Shure, but I did not hook it up this time because I have not really seen much difference in the audio quality one way versus the other when it really comes down to it. So this is the most efficient way to do it, so that's the way I'm doing it. So basically I'm just cycling through each of the microphones so you can hear how they sound in this particular room. We've talked about this in previous videos. I have a wall of glass here. I don't have any treatment whatsoever. So you're getting kind of a real world audio sample of what these guys sound like in a basic, I guess we'll call it basic YouTube studio. So that's what we're dealing with here. When we talk about some of the other features, obviously the RE-20 has the variable D, so it's supposed to do away with the proximity effect, which I don't know how well that works. I assume it's going to work quite well. The other microphone does not have that, so maybe we'll have a much more pronounced proximity effect on this actual microphone talking into it. I don't think we're going to have much of anything as it comes to the actual guy here because, it's pretty much a lavalier mic, so it's not going to pick up a whole lot different. I have everything pretty well lined up here to try to talk right down the middle, so it's not pristine, I guess, sound quality for both of the microphones, but it's as good as we can get it in this particular setup. So you can kind of see how they work. I think just from listening to these, I think the RE-20 is probably my favorite of between it and the SM7B, just sound quality wise. I think it gives a richer, deeper tone, and I really like how it sounds, with my voice. The OC-18 I think is probably in a whole different world as far as quality. If you could actually set it up in a whisper room and talk, I think it's going to be a much better overall sounding microphone than the RE-20, the SM7B, all of them that I've tested up to this point. I just need to see how it's actually going to work in this environment to see if we're getting something useful, at my little desk here as I record, as I typically talk. So that's basically what we're doing, kind of cycling through. The Austrian, it does come with a nice case. It's a briefcase. It has, all the accessories that come with it. It's got a lot of paperwork about the tests that were done and everything. The RE-20 is pretty basic. It doesn't come with the windscreen. It doesn't come with the actual shock mount. You had to buy all of that extra. So overall, they're not as different in price as they would immediately appear to be, because you have all the accessories that come with the Austrian audio. So that's a big difference there. The RE-20 is a tank. It even looks a little bit like a tank in its paint scheme. You know, it's one that I think it will be a lifetime microphone. I don't see, you know, I don't see a lot of people complain about them having issues, and it's obviously not going to mechanically break down, because the thing is just it's a beast. The Austrian, it's a newer brand. Obviously, they've been building AKGs for quite some time, these people, but I don't know how well it will hold up comparatively. But I don't see anything in it right now that would make me think that it has any quality control issues or anything along those lines. The elastics and the shock mount kind of get a little bit form-fitting and shipping. So I'm having a bit of an issue, just kind of a little bit off kilter, but I think it's getting better as it sits in the mount. I could probably just work with it a bit and get it back to where I want it. The Lavalier, the DPA 4061 comes with, you know, its base line comes with just the microphone. You got to buy everything separately unless you get the accessories kit, and then you get a little kit that has several different, you know, tie clips and things along those lines to hold it all on you. It doesn't really come with anything else. I bought the DPA XLR adapter, which is kind of overpriced for what it is. And then I basically got an adapter to run it into the Shure box, because the Shure wants TA4, and this is actually a microdot microphone. So that's what we have, you know, for this particular test. These are the microphones that we're dealing with, and this is the sound quality we're getting from them as we kind of cycle back and forth. Obviously, all of them are going to be a little bit worse off axis, but I don't think any of them are going to be dramatically different when it really comes down to it. I'm sitting, you know, 4 inches back. You know, we get a little bit farther back. I think the Austrian's probably still going to be a little bit better. I'm going to be a little bit out of focus, and the RE-20 is going to eventually start dropping some off of the sound quality. Just that's the way it works with, you know, the dynamic mics. So that pretty much wraps up this test. While we were doing this test, a mysterious Russian showed up here, which is going to be part of our next round, our final round, I think, of competition before we go to the finals and figure out which ones we're going to, you know, make the main mics in our rotation and which ones are going back into the locker for those special case uses. Hope you enjoyed this particular review. Hope you found it informative, and hope to see you next time. Thanks a lot.